Alrighty guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the Ironman. Today I am still riding off the wave of the previous episode in which we got our first ever purple, that being the light bearer at 9 kill count, and then about 30 raids later, give or take, we got ourselves a pair of Missouri chaps, so we are still indeed trying to hunt down this Fang before the nerfs come through to TOA, but for the time being I'm quietly content with what we've received so far. We are currently working on invocation 240s, I don't know if that's the way to phrase that, but whatever. In any case, I might briefly show you guys what I'm rocking here. You can kind of pause the video at any point, but I'm finding this to be challenging to the point where if I'm focused, I will rarely ever die, but at the same time, if I'm not focused, I can very much take an L or two, or a few more than that. But today, to start things off, what we're going to do is get back into the raids. We've done 37 kill count thus far. I'm going to limit myself to 50, so if I can get the Fang before then, that'll be an ultra spoon and I'll be very happy, but if not, we'll hit 50 kill count and give myself some elevated quality of life by hunting down a dragon pickaxe. So Fang or dragon pickaxe, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to cap myself to 50 kill count. So with 13 raids to go, I think it's about time I get started, get back into it. We are still trying to raise Jagex until the nerfs come through, so hopefully we can get our Fang before then, but if not, we'll make the best with what we have, because what we have so far ain't too shabby. I need the jewel still though. Oh wait, that's not the jewel I need, but that is new. I don't know what the blue one does. I need the yellow one. Is that technically a back-to-back? I don't know. You know what? I am going to count that as a back-to-back. That is 1 out of 180 to get this thing. So once we attach this to our Keris Partisan, the boost we will get is a 33% accuracy buff to Kelphites and Scarabs, both inside and most importantly, outside of TOA as well. When I saw it in the chest, I wasn't super excited, but now that I think about it, this will make Caffrey a whole lot better. I'm getting a little bit tilted, just DPSing down like that mage, Scarab and all that. Regardless, whether it's the boss or the little Scarabs itself, this will come in handy, and it looks kind of cool as well. I still need the yellow one though, that apparently is absolutely goated. Oh, I'm just dead. I'm just dead. I just completed a raid on the back of having 18 health and 1 ambrosia dose going into the final fight. Bit of a confidence boost, not gonna lie, but one thing I've just realized is that a long time ago, I set my TOA tab to be the light bearer icon, and maybe that had an influence in the drop that I got first, I don't know. Maybe I can test this out. If I change this icon to a Fang, we might be onto something here. So, if the next purple you see me get is an Osmondton's Fang, you know what to do, okay? Novice Raider, why? What did I do? First raid of the day gave me a bit of a boost to my RNG. Let's see if we can do it again the day after. Apparently not. Unless, yellow bead? No. I've got 2 more raids to do until I hit number 50, but not gonna lie, I kind of want to keep going after 50, but we'll see. I'm not sure if it's true, but I really do feel like walking up to the chest boosts the RNG. I no longer feel that way. I had a feeling for a second that that might be the case, but after repeated testing, I can confirm walking to the chest does nothing. I will be sprinting to the finish for chest number 50. I'm definitely starting to run out of AFK bank standing activities, so it's going to be once again a withdrawal from the Herblore supplies. I only get 1 teleport per day with this desert amulet, so if I forget something, I feel like a dick because getting back here is tedious at best. But one thing I forgot about was good old Wesley here. Instead of crushing the bird nests during my runs, I can just talk to this guy. So I can save my wrist for the cost of 5 GP per instance. And I believe I can crush both my bird nests as well as my blue dragon scales here. So maybe if you're trying to save some GP, you can crush them as you go. But I think Wesley here is going to be my mate for the foreseeable future. No more pestle and mortar for me. I'm also really hoping that this person actually sells vials of water. I've only got 2,000 with me, and as you can see, I've been farming a little bit. And wow, I feel like I do these check-ins quite regularly. But this is ridiculous. I guess removing the coins would probably help. Once again, 106 mil. But yeah, unless this general store is selling vials of water, I am up shit creek because I can only choose to attach herbs to 2,000 vials. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to run through the fairy ring to get back here, aren't I? It made a lot of intuitive sense that a Herblore specialist would sell vials of water, but here we are. Alright, the moron tax has been paid. We are back in the desert. Time to actually make these into potions. Each time I complete a TOA, I feel like I nerd neck it so hard that my body just needs to relax for a couple of minutes. I don't know how to do TOA without doing that. If you have any tips, let me know. We're gonna make all these potions. Isn't that a beautiful sight? I just need stuff that I can AFK at the bank for 5-10 minutes. And I think Herblore is going to be perfect. The only downside is I'm kind of lacking when it comes to secondaries for a lot of these. Raynars, not so much. It looks like I do have quite a substantial stash of snapegrass, which is fortunate. We've also recently got a good amount of dragon scale dust. It's things like toadflax potions, snapdragon potions, and albantoes. Definitely lacking in the secondaries for that, but we can chase those down at another time. Several thousand herbs we can make into potions right now with the secondaries already ready to go. So we should be content for quite some time, and hopefully we have enough banked experience to make a bit of a dent here on Herblore, recently hitting 9 million experience. There is a tremendous upside to having supplies in which I can bank stand and still make progress, but the downside is if I have an excess of it, I kind of procrastinate for a bit longer than I intended originally. But there is 96 Herblore, courtesy of some fine-tuned procrastination just now. Doesn't allow us to make anything new, but yes, I still have not done the 50th raid, and I've just been thinking about the fact that I'm not in the raid for, I don't know, a couple of hours at this point, but eventually we'll get back in there, we'll sprint at that chest, and it will reveal whether or not a purple is in my destiny or not. This puzzle room here is the reason why I want to go for a dragon pickaxe after my 50th kill count. I think with a D-pick I can reliably do this in one motion. Because I've only got a rune pickaxe, I've never been able to do this in one sequence, and as a result I have to continuously go back for a second round, and it would be such a good quality of life if each time I did this, I would only have to go through it in one rotation. Remind me never to attempt to record commentary mid TOA fight, but my serpentine helm has just gone down. I had no idea it was so low on charges. Run number 50 is looking pretty scuffed. Alright, there is raid number 50. We are going to Terry Tate this chest here. Hope we see a purple light. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You want a little bit of drama when you loot a TOA, but the helmet's dead, but the most important thing is that the warden is as well. There is raid number 50. Can we? No, we can't. Why would we? Well, like, poetry doesn't exist anymore. And that isn't entirely useful. I guess the death runes are kind of good. I actually did run out of fire runes on one of my runs, so I had to restock this entirely, but I think it is time we make a pivot, try and get that D-pick, like I mentioned, that puzzle room, man. If I can save like a minute each single run I do, like I would have already saved upwards of an hour at this point already in my journey, so who knows, maybe it'll come in handy, maybe it'll give me a much needed break from this raid. I feel like I'm just slamming these over and over again. I didn't even loot the chest. But yeah, I'm really not decided whether or not I want to go to Kelphite Queen or to RTO. It makes a lot of thematic sense now that I've got the blue Keris, but at the same time, the Kelphite Queen is still pretty scuffed of a boss, so I'm going to go try and make up my mind. I guess the next few clips you see will kind of determine where my mind went, because in this very moment, I have no idea which pathway I'm going to take. But regardless of that decision, I think we better charge this thing back up. I'm actually still not too sure if I want to use this going forward. I do have a face guard, but there is a few instances where venom is a thing, and who knows, maybe I run one of the TOAs without this Tanzanite helm, see how it goes, and if it doesn't suck ass, I can stick with a face guard, but yeah, still yet to use this item. I spent a long time to obtain it, and it's just been sitting in the bank collecting dust. Thanks to the Keris upgrade, it felt wrong to go anywhere else other than the Kelphite Queen. So we got ourselves a combat achievement, doing a nice little flinching method here, and RNG, it treated me quite well. In only 10 kill count, we got this. Ooh, got the head. It's like 1 in 128, or no, 256 I think. That is an absolute spoon. I don't know what is up with my RNG with some of these side grinds, but the very next kill, we got this. Oh, I thought that was the pickaxe, there's no way. The very next kill I get the sword. Okay, so I think I've relatively perfected the method. If I do it properly, if I consciously do it properly, I can get it done most times. We've now gotten back-to-back unique drops here. The KQ head, as well as the D2H. Just need that pickaxe. So this method was developed by a YouTuber that, I don't know how to say it, B-O-U-C-R, if you just search that. Balker, KQ, you'll find his video, find out these tiles for yourself. But to set it up, I'll start from a neutral position, so I'll climb up the rope, climb back down, then I'll aggro these two monsters here. I made the mistake of attacking with my Keris. I believe I accidentally venomed, perhaps, these guardians, and eventually they ended up dying, so what we want to do here, make sure the Calphite Queen, she's not patrolling too badly. I'm still a bit unfamiliar with this entirely, but essentially we want to get these two guardians back to back like this, so this spot will be a safe spot, and once we've got this part sorted, we are pretty much good to go. So from here, just going to drink a prayer pot real quick, going to go ahead and aggro the KQ. Once I've cleared these guys, I'll switch to my Mage Prey, right click the tile that I want to end up on, and then the Calphite Queen should fall into place. She might get stuck on this spot here, but that's okay. From this position here, you stand on this tile, go back and forth. You might have to do this a couple of times to make sure it happens, and then once you're in this spot here, we have these two tiles. So when you're ready to move forwards, Prey Mage, I believe, would be the best way to do this. Hop to this first tile, wait till this guy moves underneath to the south point of the Queen, and then we'll hop underneath her. This is nice because you don't need to like red X or anything. There's nothing overly complicated, and once you're in this position, you're pretty much good to go. So this will probably be my final kill. I believe Audio will be much more kills per hour, but I wanted to do one more just to kind of demonstrate what's going on, and who knows, maybe I get a back-to-back situation going on. So once you're here, I'm just going to pot up real quick, grab my Warhammer, give the KQ a nice belting. Now, I don't know if you need to spec both forms. I don't know, like, once it swaps to its orange form, if you need to hammer it again. But essentially, once you're in this position, you're pretty much good to flinch. Once the health bar disappears, click on it again. Shift left click to get back underneath her. And you can just toggle your piety as you go to conserve prayer points. So, a pretty simple method. You could probably do this quite early on into an account. It is just nice, however, to have a blue Keras. Definitely speeds up the kills a little bit. But as you can see by my kill times, my kills aren't exactly quick to begin with, which is the main reason why this will be my final kill. So, I'll be right back and see if we can pull something out of our hat. Once the Queen changes form, it's not like she's going to compromise the position at all. I found that kind of surprising, actually. I thought when she transformed, her hitbox would change and these guys would move out of position, but apparently not. But yeah, the mistake I made before was poisoning these workers here, or the Guardians. One of them ended up dying, and I had to kind of dance underneath the KQ for a little bit. One more hit should have us in the clear. That is a dead Queen if I've ever seen one. A D pick on the floor would be absolutely amazing, but that is okay. I can't complain with the RNG. The head in this form is 1 in 128. The tattered one was the one I was thinking of. That is a 1 in 256. That one is guaranteed if you go super dry. And for those unaware, the KQ head is a requirement for the Desert Elite Diaries. So I can now get that completed, actually. I didn't think that would be something I'd get done anytime soon, but the situation that's arisen has kind of allowed me to do that. So that's ready to go when I'm ready to go. But in the time being, I'm going to try out Audio. And if I get PK'd, maybe that's when I'll go ahead and do the achievement diary. But to my surprise, Audio, Mini Callisto, little bear in the wilderness that is probably within eyeshot of here. I've never been there before, but I know it's close by. The Dragon Pickaxe is actually a more frequent drop from this place than it is from the KQ. Maybe it's this one here, this Hunter's End. I could be wrong, but I think it's 1 in 368, and I can get much more kills per hour. I just need to find a gear setup that's nice and, how do you say, budget friendly. So I'm going to theory craft a little bit, try and get something together. Because we did so many zombie pirates recently, we have a lot of resources in that sense. So if I search for my blighted supplies, over 4,000 casts of Ice Barrage, which will be good, and then I can just range the bear down once it's frozen in position. But I digress. Now to the drawing board to find a gear setup that actually works. I think I've got the setup here. I might have to pay a cave entry fee. I'm hoping I can insta-seed out if I see a PK, but this is the amazing setup that I've got, looking like an absolute stud. I do believe I need a 0 magic bonus to guarantee a barrage, so a +2, pretty good, I reckon. Overall risk is about 200k, I believe, but I think the most of that is just like supplies itself. I probably don't need so many blighted ancient sacks, but I've got over 4,000 of them, so I might as well put them to use. But anyway, wish me luck. I'm going to head into the den and hopefully Audio drops me a pickaxe. Oh, I'm not on ancients. That is a... Oh, wait, I can't teleport because I don't have the diary. God damn it. Why is that a thing? I'm dead. Tis took Hancock. Far out. That's what I teleported from. Oh, I got it. I'm out of here. I guess today is just a day of being spooned random assorted items, but the Dragon Pickaxe, I'm actually so keen on that. I'm like 15, almost 16 mil mining experience. I've done all of that with a Rune Pickaxe, so not only is this going to be quality of life at TOA, but if I ever want to mine stars, which I will, still need to hunt down that golem. If I ever want to mine amethyst, this is so good because you can use the special attack in TOA, it boosts your mining level even further, and I think it's almost guaranteed if you're half decent at clicking the obelisk nice and quick, so I'm super stoked to get that, and even more stoked to get it at 37 kill count, because I do not like the wilderness whatsoever, so I'm super glad to be done with it. But with that said, it is a TOA upgrade, it is a quality of life, let's put it to use and see if we can get ourselves another spooned item, that being a purple chest. Wish me luck. Oh! I got the yellow one. Nice. This is the one that gives you a shitload of health back if you use the special attack, I think. We finally managed to get a 1 down during a raid. That is such a nice little quality of life upgrade. I did screw it up a couple of times. I wasn't using the special attack. I tried to be greedy, but I think moving forward, I'll probably just use the special attack when I first get into the room, and then the light bearer can kind of recoup some of that by the time the puzzle is completed. But yes, this is my first raid of the day, and as you can see, we are walking up to a chest, and what do we see here? I don't know what it is with the RNG boost and first raids of the day, but I think maybe I just do one raid every single day. That way I can min-max the RNG boost that we get, but hopefully we get the Fang. This is the goal that we are going for, and if we can obtain this now before the nerfs come in, that'll be such a good upgrade to have, and then when the updates come through, I can chase those other items at an updated rate. It's kind of ironic I got myself Missouri Chaps before I got the Fang, but without further ado, let's open up our third purple ever. Man, I'm enjoying raids. Just the idea that a purple is possible is enough to keep me going. So what is it going to be? I really hope this is a Fang. An Eladinus Ward? What? I mean, I'll take it, but I didn't want the gingerbread man. I really didn't. We're still hunting the Fang. I think this is much rarer than the Fang, as are the chaps. So I guess the Fang, we're still going to have to chase it down. It's going to be quite a few raids before we get this one by the looks of things, but I can't even bank it. Straight into the inventory it goes. But anyway, purple number 4 perhaps. I guess my theory about using the bank tag layout icon to boost the RNG for the specific item you'd like doesn't actually work. So maybe I'll have to change this back to something else. Over the last few raids I've been doing, I'm slowly getting used to this Chaos Partisan of the Sun, and I'm going to try a run with dehydration. Doing this will mean I can't use ambrosias, I can't use brews, but the special attack, what it does is replaces prayer points with food, essentially. At the cost of 50 prayer points when I use the special attack, also costs 75% spec. What it'll do is overheal me somewhere in the range of 110 health, so very powerful special attack and really leverages prayer points as a source of HP rather than brews, food, or ambrosias. So yeah, if we turn on dehydration, that'll give us an extra 30 invocation. We are kind of approaching that expert TOA mode. I had envisioned that I would obtain the Fang and then maybe try out Walk the Path or something like that. These ones scare me. These Path ones as well as Insanity, definitely not a huge fan of like reading what those do, but once I get the Fang, perhaps Walk the Path might be viable, not too sure. It seems overly complicated, all of these mechanics, like the bosses level up, and leveling up means X, Y, and Z, so there's just so many little variables that get tweaked by simply turning on this thing here. So I'm going to try out a 270 with dehydration, see if the Chaos Partisan can carry me a little bit. Probably going to have a lot less claw specs, not too sure if I should even bring those, to be honest. I do kind of like last hitting Akka when he's in the cum phase. I might hit 3 or 4 times with the Huster and then spec him out with the claws. This can clutch up a few moments, but also similarly, this Chaos Partisan can clutch up with the fact that it's a kind of get out of jail free card. If I spec, I'll instantly jump up like 100 health, which can definitely get me out of bad situations, but gonna give it a shot, see if I can pull off a 270, and if so, we can increase our rates of purples just a little bit more as well. I've also swapped out my Tanzanite helm for a extended anti-venom. I believe I only need 1 dose of this. I'll probably in the future pre-pot this, put it back in the bank, but whilst I'm not too sure, I'm just going to bring it with me in case I need extra doses. But anyway, without further ado, let's try out a 270. Up until this point, I've been using whichever invocation makes it so protection prayers are 10% less effective. I switched it to the one where it drains prayer points for damage taken. And immediately, I had no idea these couldn't hit through prayer. I feel like I'm invincible now. Have I just been running the worst invocation for so long and it's only just occurred to me in this moment? Possibly. Man, I feel so dumb. I've run like 50, 60 raids. And oh god, I feel so stupid. I took like 0 damage. The only thing that hit me was the little blood special attack. I was praying range when it came through. This is going to save me so much. I can't believe I was running that dog shit invocation for so long. Oh well, at least I know now. I'll try to remember after the raid to point out which one I was using so you can also never use it in your life. Also in the Carefree room, what is that, 10 HP missing? Holy smokes. I thought chip damage was just like normalized, right? I thought that was just a part of TOA. I was like, you know what, it makes sense I take 6 and 7s every now and again. This is a raid after all, I've never done these before and it makes sense that I'm taking damage consistently. Turns out it was just that bloody invocation. Anyway, I'm gonna go 1 down this thing really quick and finish things up. I'm never gonna get sick of that. That is so good. I think the longer you go without it, the more you appreciate it when you actually get it. Definitely an adjustment period there. Just want to double check. Yeah, I can't drink the ambrosias. Supplies did pretty well. I think I've used all of them by the looks of things. A little bit confusing when I pull out all those nectars and I just have to drop them on the ground. I think I need to do the same thing with ambrosias. So the healing, it's kind of concerning because it's kind of all or nothing. I like to, if I take damage throughout the phases, just keep brewing up over time with the salts and I can kind of sustain myself and not get surprised. But when you're running this setup here with the Partisan, your healing is very limited, and I keep using Burning Claws specs, and I don't know, it's going to be a bit of a balance, but definitely doable. I'm kind of tempted to bank my Burning Claws. I'm just a little bit worried that if I keep relying on the Burning Claws for DPS, I'll be in situations where I really need to heal and I can't because my spec just isn't there. Oh yes, this old chestnut, Quiet Prayers. This is the one that I was just consistently taking damage with. That's where Bruise came in handy, because that chip damage, you needed to replenish it, otherwise you could just leave yourself susceptible to getting one-tapped. But yes, I've since replaced Quiet Prayers with Deadly Prayers, and my experience is night and day. Never use this, I don't know why this is a thing. This is definitely a much better option. I think if it doesn't hit you above a certain threshold, you won't take prayer hits anyway. I think it needs to be 5 or more damage, could be wrong on those numbers though. I really want to try and find like an extra 30 invocation here. Try and get to expert raids without insanity or walk the path. I think that'd be pretty interesting. I've been kind of low-key practicing how to butterfly, and I think if you turn on like 2 of these, you can infinitely butterfly. It kind of helps you rather than harms you, but I'm not too sure about that. Nor am I confident enough that I could infinitely butterfly an entire Arca fight. I'll probably just roll with what I've got now, and once I've got a Fang, maybe I can equip one of these pathways. Cache of runes. Let's see. 3,500 blood runes? Okay. For a white chest, that's, I guess not entirely disappointing. That's crazy, actually. This is an interesting one. I'm about to get nerd logged, and the game appreciates that fact and is warning me before I go in. So cheers, Jagex. I'm not going to get DC'd halfway through a Warden's phase. That's crazy. They really do think of everything, hey? What I was doing in this room originally was I would complete the maze, the puzzle, the whatever on this side. I would go across this gap, I would do the puzzle on the other side, and then proceed into the next room. Not knowing that if you just do one of the sides, you can cross into the other and just skip that entirely. So that's why that combat achievement took so damn long. I've been doing twice the amount of puzzles that I needed to. Misclicking on this one is always fun. So that raid, I died like a dumbass on the obelisk phase with my last salt, so I did the whole thing again without salts, and I can't believe I even got the kill just then. Oh boy. All that effort for a white light, that is crazy. A lot of gemstones, I guess, but holy shit. Oh, I've trapped myself, that's a problem. First time for everything, I suppose. Didn't hurt me in the end. I'm trying to do, what's this one? Akka. This one third, but the muscle memory is too strong. I ended up doing it last. If Kefri is my final one, I feel like it's the freest out of them all. So if that's the last one left, it's just, I don't know. I've had a few situations where I've died at Akka and it's been super tilting. So if I put him third instead of fourth, even if I do die at that stage, it'll be less of a painful experience. There is the final one. I don't know what the Eye of the Corruptor does. I've heard very good things about the yellow one. I found out for myself that the blue one's kind of cool, but the red one, no idea what that does. It'd be kind of cool if you could combine all three together once you had the whole set, but something tells me that's not possible. After checking in with the wiki, I think it's pretty obvious why this one isn't exactly famous. It gives you like accuracy and attack buff for the cost of 75% of your special attack. So if you compare that to the yellow Karis, that is night and day. The yellow one just eats the shit out of it. I don't know why this one exists, to be honest. Does it even look cool? I guess it kind of looks kind of nice, but yes, I'll use it for cosmetic surgery. But absolutely no utility whatsoever will this ever be used. I think I'll probably just camp the yellow one whilst I'm using it in TOA, and then outside of it, chuck on the blue one. But this red one, I don't know if I should just elk it or something. I have no idea what I'm going to use it for. Probably just going to sit in the bank and clog up a slot for the rest of time. Interesting though, got all 3 jewels within 62 kill count. This is while they are a 1 in 180 drop, so very strange. It's almost like the change is alive in this moment, but they're definitely not. Kind of curious what the new rates will actually be, probably mimicking approximately what I've done here. Since the Eladinus Ward, no purples all day today. I think I've done 13, 14 raids, something like that. So the most I've ever done in one day. These are a little exhausting to do still, but I find that over time they're becoming more and more bearable, at least to do a bunch of them. Man, I felt like I saw an ambient purple glow before there, but apparently not, but that's okay. We'll check in tomorrow, get our first raid of the day done, and if history repeats itself again, the first chest that we get should be purple, so I'll see you in the morning with a purple chest. Definitely feeling rusty this morning. That is the first one of the day. I'll take my free purple and move on with the rest of the evening, in which I don't get anything useful, but the first chest is, of course, the most important. That must be a glitch or something. There should be a pet inside this chest, I suppose. No pet, no purple. What is going on today? I didn't even realize you could get duplicates of this thing. I don't even know if I want the first one, let alone the second. I got time for one more before I need to go to work. Unless we can finish with TOA right now with a purple. We could do that. We could totally... Oh my god. It's always so surreal every single time. This is what we do it for. The purple at the end of the line. Now, look. I've gotten pretty lucky so far. 3 uniques. To ask for a 4th in succession, is that greedy? I don't care. I'm going to ask for it anyway. The Fang is the ultimate goal. I need to get this before the drop rates get tweaked. So I'm going to ride on this high right now, hope for the best. And look, it's okay. We've had a good run so far. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm happy with my experience, but not gonna lie, the Fang would be a beautiful addition. It would put my mind at ease. A light bearer, that's not what I wanted. I guess I do have time for one more run. An Eladinus special? Goodness. I gotta say, it's a bit of a sour moment, bit bittersweet. It is so nice to see a purple. It's been a little while, but we're still chasing that Fang. I honestly, in real time, don't know how long I've been doing this for. But anyway, I got time for one more before I need to go to work, so let's try and do it. Get the back-to-back. 76! No. That's the highest I've ever been hit by that. Far out. Oh no, bro. Like, I clicked outside. Come on. I don't have time for this. That's the first time I've ever been caught in that shithole that early on, I think. Damn it. I don't think there's a positive thing to glean from that. I'm trying to be optimistic, but it's difficult in this moment. You know what? I hit 2 zeros with my BGS. Maybe we can rectify it this time. There we go. Automatically better. Now, my memory could be kind of bad, but I'm pretty confident that's either my only death ever on this stage or one of the very few. The reason why I like putting Caffrey last is it's my I can't die on this boss, but I guess I'm a bit time pressured right now, so I'm just kind of making mistakes that I normally wouldn't. Perhaps, maybe I'm coping, could be possible as well. But there is a saying in the old school community that I'm quite fond of. That being, scuffed equals stuff. Now, I don't know where this originates, if there's any truth behind it, but we're going to find out if, 1, I can actually finish this raid, and 2, if there's any truth to that statement. The previously stated principles apply. It would be raid number 69, surely. I've never had a back-to-back in my life. Look, the odds aren't exactly in my favor, 3.08. But if there's ever a time to prove or disprove this theory, it's right now. I think through my vigorous scientific research, we've concluded that scuffed indeed does not equal any stuff at all. Had to take a bit of an agility break after that one, getting ourselves 97. I like to just come back to agility. It's weird, I don't like the skill per se, but when you're exhausted from TOA, running around in circles is just kind of what my brain needs to unwind a little bit. But got back into the raid, did a duo raid this time around. We got to complete the raid without getting a pile of dung at the end of it, which is even better. But once I got back into my agility ways, taking a bit of a break from TOA, Cone Whiffer, the one and only, claimed to have 99 incoming, and sure enough, the sparkles above his head did not lie, so congratulations to this man here. I know this progress series is generally about this account, but we can't help but document moments like that, so congratulations, my dude. But afterwards, back into the raid, we got ourselves a Breach of Scarab. That is back-to-back, you joking? Come on, bro. Unreal. And I was, rewarded with the back-to-back there, so getting plenty of gems. But afterwards, we pushed the raid to do our first ever expert, completing a 300. Not the best loot, but I was just happy to get it completed. Proof of concept.
I finally settled for a 290 invocation. I don't think there's a huge difference between 290 and 300. I kind of thought there was, but after doing a 300 and a 305, it really doesn't seem like it makes much of a difference, and getting that successful 300 was contingent on me completing it in under 40 minutes, so the gamble of if you get it, it's great, but if you don't, you lose 20. In the end, I think 290 is just fine, but as you can probably tell, my voice is screwed. I am sick as a dog right now, but I have completed 100 raids, and I am extremely dry, so I've been avoiding commentating absolutely everything for, I don't know, multiple days at this point, but I'm still on the hunt for a purple. I am just so defeated. I have been for days, but I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to brute force it, but man, I really feel like I'm on the Bofa grind all over again, except instead of it being 10-minute intervals to be disappointed, it's 40 minutes, and the kill isn't necessarily guaranteed, so at least with 290s, I'm getting upwards of a 4% chance, so statistically, it shouldn't take too long to get that final purple, or at least the one that can restore my brain, because a lack of dopamine is killing me. Yo, cheers, Crow. I just had a coughing fit as soon as you said that, mate, but cheers. I really need that luck. I will take that into account and take it on into my next couple of raids. If I do get one in the next few, it'll be thanks to you, buddy.
The kind words were definitely appreciated, but unfortunately they didn't translate into any magic pixie dust. I didn't learn to fly, nor did the purples fly in at all. But I needed a brain reset once again, and my destination of choice was to collect mushrooms. Came across a dragon impling, which proved to be quite elusive, but ironically, I think the loot I got from this dragon impling was better than anything I would have gotten from a TOA raid. At least time invested versus reward received, but the debacle is over. We've got ourselves some dragon dart tips.
It's a pretty sad state of affairs when collecting mushrooms are actually good for my brain to kind of take a break from TOA. I think once again, I've fallen into the trap of committing to a grind and not allowed myself to deviate whatsoever, so literally anything that isn't TOA is like healing for me, but let's just put it this way. The 6,000 to 7,000 Aventos I have in my bank, I no longer need to get secondaries for them, because in this moment, after this inventory, I should be pretty much covered. So I don't know if I've covered this method before. It's very common, but with your Drax Medallion, you can just teleport very close by. Use your Blessed Sickle. There's 4 logs here. And the inventory viewer plugin is why you see my mushrooms on screen. Just kind of helps out a little bit. But a little bank teleport, a prayer teleport, a reagent pouch, still don't know how to say that thing, and yeah, fairly minimalist setup you can use, get yourself quite a few of these mushies, but as you can see, 6.3k in the bank, and with the headpiece that we have, that'll give me an extra 10%, so I've effectively got way more than I need, so that is one of the 3 herbs that I require secondaries for sorted. The only thing that remains now are the Snapdragons, as well as the Toadflax, but that will be for another day. I think my brain has been... Why are my arms disappearing? I think my brain has been relatively cleansed, and yeah, I can get back into the raid, and hopefully we can end this with a fang. My god, I'm going to be so conflicted when I see this next purple. The mental pressure that I have for this to be a fang is intense. But I think for my own sanity's sake, I'm going to cap myself to 100 raids this video, so That way there is light at the end of the tunnel, no matter what. Because yeah, I'm starting to realize that committing myself to needing to get a fang to wrap things up today, it's yeah, devastating for the brain to contemplate when you see white light after white light over and over again. This was my last raid of the night. I have not got a purple since, what, 68 kill count or something like this, so 36 KC, nothing to show for it. My voice is absolutely cooked, so I'm going to keep this short. I really need this fang. If I can get the fang, I can end this early, but if not, I will be stuck to the grindstone indefinitely. I need this so bad, Jagex. I don't need that at all. That is so far from what I need right now. Oh my god, that is not the light at the end of the tunnel. That is just depression. Another gingerbread. Somebody shoot me. I think the intelligent thing to do after that raid was to get some sleep, go to bed, but instead, I don't know, man. I feel like I haven't made progress in this game for like a week, so I needed to do some Herblore just to feel something, you know? I feel like I'm getting nowhere, and it's really fatiguing on the brain, but there is 98 Hunter. We've got one level to go with this one, and I don't know, Herblore's kind of chill. It's probably what I'll do predominantly for experience, because to be honest, birdhouses, they're great, they're passive, but there's no way in hell I'm waiting that long to get 99. Just chilling between some raids here. I don't know, we're a bunch of Ironmen with fangs just kind of rolled up, and it's really made me feel quite inadequate, but there's a Herblore level. Nice to have a bank standing skill. Once again, I don't have to leave the raid entirely to take a break, which is good. We can now make divine super combat potions. Isn't that crazy? I'll set up my Herblore tab so I can clearly see what I need. I obviously lacking for Toadflax and Snapdragon potions, but I think that'll be a fun little side journey to go on, because once I get all the secondaries required for all of these potions, these ones are obviously complete, that'll be 99 Herblore done, essentially. So it's kind of cool to have all the herbs that I need. That's the longest part of the process, and that's complete. So all that's left to do is go hunting for some secondaries, but I was looking at some giant mole strategies, and apparently the Osmanton Fang is like the best in slot melee item to use, so I'm once again reminded that I am inadequate, and even if I want to go down a different pathway to get secondaries, I'm going to be worse off if I don't have that Fang. So I think all roads, they lead me down the Fang path, so I guess I better get back in there. Wish me luck. It looks like that Herblore level gave me some increased luck. I don't know why I'm refreshing my health right now, but like I said before, my voice is screwed. I'm not going to muck around. I need a Fang. We know the script at this point. I've got 2 rings, 2 wards, 1 Missouri chaps, and I'm so surprised to see another purple this early. Jagex, I need this so badly. Please be a Fang. Oh my god. A 3rd light bearer, just what I needed. Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna go make some more potions. Stuff this. I feel like I haven't recorded any clips in like 2 weeks. Truth be told, not been doing many raids, but today, Jagex released the new jewel of a mascot. This will bridge the gap between what I've got currently and the Fang, so this will be my new best in slot stab weapon. I'm not sure how this is going to work. Do I need to like flip-flop between the yellow and the black? In any case, this should speed up my raids a little bit. The changes that came through today are definitely an improvement. In particular, I think they knocked down the testosterone a little bit of, what's his name? Cum phase guy, which is good. I'm getting a lot less tilted deaths. But we'll take that jewel for now. It's no Fang, but it is a step in the right direction. We're approaching 100 raids this video. With only 8 left to go, let's see if we can clutch up with a Fang with this new jewel. But even if we don't get it, at least I've got myself an upgrade. I feel like I'm actually making progress, which is a strange feeling because it's been multiple weeks and I feel like I'm just kind of getting nowhere. This is going to take a bit of trial and error, I suppose, but the welcome DPS upgrade is definitely there. My Fang fatigue is quite high, so any progress is very solid, and I'm glad Jagex have released this little in-between measure between the Hasta and the Fang. Speaking of which, though, I can probably bank this thing, I suppose. Although, I must say, my inventory is looking awfully whack. I feel like I've just opened up a kid's toy box or something. All these colors and crap, it looks so strange. Thank you for your concern, Jagex, but I think I'll be able to get this done in under 55 minutes.
I can confirm that that raid was done in less than an hour, and then we moved on to a 305. This is now the highest raid invocation I've ever completed. Got ourselves a combat achievement. I don't necessarily know what it meant, but in the end, it didn't even matter because there was no purple to see, but that's okay. Another expert down the drain. That is officially raid number 100 of the video. I think that's a new PB. I'm so used to just mentally checking out at the end of the raid that I don't look for these new PBs, but I see it before my eyes. New personal best, you can't argue with the results. The raid times have definitely dropped over the last few raids thanks to the changes, but what hasn't changed is the color of the light that I see at the end of this tunnel every single time. I'm getting a little bit better with getting unique chance, doing some skull skipping and whatnot, but man, this feels bleak. I feel absolutely depleted, and it really feels impossible to see a purple light at the end of this tunnel. So, like, I'm such at a crossroads right now. Like, capping it at 100 feels wrong, but if I don't cap it somewhere, I'm going to be stuck here forever. But who knows, maybe I'll send a couple more. I really want to get this fang. I just feel like I've been stuck in limbo for weeks. Something has got to give. As I'm staring at this white, empty, bleak chest, I'm noticing that the number 28 appearing more often in this moment than it normally would. I don't know if that's a good, a bad, or a completely neutral thing, but your brain, it just kind of sticks to things when it's so bored of everything else. You kind of have to invent some narrative in your mind to keep things interesting. But yeah, I don't have a fang, but the number 28 is in my brain, so that's something, I guess. Now that the changes have come through to TOA, the monkey room is very different in a way that is kind of harder than it used to be. My understanding was like across the board, everything was meant to be easier, but I feel like the shamans, they've got like 3 times more health than they ever had before. So my inventory setup is now like useless. I had a nice setup that I liked, and I need to find a new one that works for me. Because I can't really one-shot the shamans anymore, which is a kind of a pain in the ass. But because the changes have come through, I just wanted to reflect on the collection log that I've gotten thus far. Mainly to reflect on the jewel rates, because I haven't shown every single drop. I've got 5 blue gems, like how many of those do I really want to show? But this is our current log. I think I've done about 10, maybe 15 raids since the changes, so have not seen a purple since the changes came through, but fortunately, we do have that new black gem. But I just wanted to, document how ridiculous my RNG was before the changes actually came through for these gems. But yeah, I've been very paranoid over the last couple of weeks that my purple rates are going to be obliterated and my chance of getting a fang will be absolutely in the toilet. However, what I did not realize is that for invocations 300 or below, not a whole lot has changed, I don't really think. So in the grand scheme of things, the nerfs that came through, the ones that I was so worried about, for me specifically, they're not a huge threat. The only thing that'll really change is the jewel rates, which to me, again, doesn't really matter because I've got all the jewels. And the nerf to the purples really only affected those doing 400 and 500 raids. And the higher you went, the more you're being affected. But because I'm a nice, humble shitter, I'm not really impacted too much. So that has kind of put my mind at ease, which is good. And we've also got this jewel, which I wasn't anticipating. So I think for me, all across the board, it's a bunch of green ticks. There's nothing that I'm really kind of down bad about. It's just the monkey room that was purported to be easier due to less waves, but for me in solo, I'm finding it to be harder than it used to be. So if I can kind of figure that out and stop getting bogged down and destroyed by the shamans in that room, I think it's a net positive. Just rocking some 280s for now. I was using the boulder dash invocation, but that is just a pain in my ass that I'm just not willing to deal with. So while I'm feeling fresh, while I'm not feeling entirely burnt out, and whilst we still have a little bit of momentum with some cool new upgrades, I'll send a couple of raids, see if we can change things to be in our favor. I'm just not going to commit to X amount of raids. Anything at this point is just a bonus. Well, I'm glad I documented the jewels I had before this point, otherwise maybe you wouldn't believe me. But we've got red gem number 4. I think I'm going to have to break these down and turn them into bracelets of slaughter or something. Hopefully one day these red ones in particular get buffed, because I think they're like borderline useless unless you're doing like a mass raid. After landing an absolute screamer of a BGS, I was quite excited, trying to rapidly switch over to my range gear. Managed to red click the boss a few times, living with only 1 health left over to spare. It was a little bit panicked, but I managed to stay calm, switch to the Karis, get back to 118. It is such a powerful special attack, but man, is it clunky sometimes. The amount of deaths I've had in this raid trying to panic switch to my Karis is kind of off the charts, but in that situation, we managed to live. No loot to kind of report on, but now that the changes to TOA have come through, the invocations that I've got have allowed me to get to 300, and it kind of feels like it's faster and easier than it used to be. So I think a lot of the previous panic I had trying to get my fang as fast as possible, I probably would have been better off if I just kind of camped it and waited for the updates to go through. But the update that you see on your screen right now is, of course, my final purple of the video. So without further ado, let's go see what's inside. Since I completed my 100th raid of the video, I kind of mentally clocked off and I'm like, yep, I'm done. But since then, I've done, I don't know, 10, 15 more raids. I've pumped up to a 300 invocation. The Stay Vigilant invocation is a little bit easier now that Akka is a little bit less of a ball buster. And the times that I'm getting are like sub 35 very consistently. So that is some very easy invocation levels to get, and as a result I've just been cruising through 300s, done my 11th one, and surprise surprise, after about 50 raids between normals and experts, I've actually got a purple. But we have been here many times before. We're gonna rip the band-aid off right now. We all know what the objective is here, but to be honest, with this new gem here, the Black Jewel, my raiding experience has definitely been a little bit better, but we can elevate it a bit further with what are you saying? There is no way that's what I get. I was like mentally preparing for a duplicate, but not Missouri chaps again. This is unfortunately a very familiar throwback. Oh my goodness. Alright, I think I just need to end the video here. It's gonna like look like a complete clone of the previous video, but I can assure you there have been hundreds of raids in between that video and this one. But with that said, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully my voice isn't destroyed in the next one, and maybe we can get ourselves a unique for once.